What's going on, guys? BouseFeenux here, and it's been a while, but Going Analog is back. This is the first actual video we're recording in the new store, and today we're taking a look at Lucidity, Six-Sided Nightmares. So this is a really cool game that I got in the store recently, and essentially the whole premise behind it is that you're a dreamer trying to steal power from these terrifying dreams. And it's kind of got a pressure luck mechanic where if you delve too deep or you dream too deeply, you end up becoming a nightmare yourself. So with that intro out of the way, let's go over to the table and take a look at some of the components. All right, guys, welcome to the table. Here I've got the game spread out before me, and let's take a look at each of the individual components. So in the box, you get a bag of dice. These are the dreams that you're going to be rolling. So these represent a lot of different things in the game, and we're going to do a game turn to show you how it plays, and we'll kind of get more into that in a second. But essentially, there's just several assorted colors. You have yellow, blue, red, and green, and they each signify different things in the game world. Also in the box is a really neat little extra thing. These don't affect the game in any way or have any bearing on gameplay, but they're just little prints that came with the game that kind of showcase the art of some of the nightmares that you'll be encountering. And speaking of, in the center of the table as you play, you'll have this handful of nightmare cards, and these are, if you're not careful, what your character can turn into. And it's a neat little mechanic because as you die, you're still a part of the game and you affect the game for the other players at the table in a myriad of different ways. Then also we have one of my favorite things that comes with the game. We have these dashboards here, and these kind of track your progress on various stats, your power level, this, that, and the other. It's just a dashboard that kind of has all your game information on it, and these are really nice. All the components are nicely made. They got nice card stock on them, and the game is very well packaged and put together. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at what a game turn looks like and kind of how this game plays. Alright, so at the table here, we're just about ready to get into the game, and we're going to start with how the setup works. So it's pretty simple. You take one of these little dashboard cards, and you have it to the multiplayer side if you're playing with two people, or if you're just playing by yourself, this is the single player side. The game does support single player play or solitaire, but today we're going to be focusing on the multiplayer aspect of it. So I take one. I've got Andrew here with me. He's going to help me demo the game for you guys, and he's going to take one of these dashboards as well. Then the next thing you need is one of these 1999 Pokemon damage counters.
Ooh, so pretty.
So pretty. And then the other two go out of the game because we're not going to be using those. It's just the two of us here. And any dice go into the bag. So this is going to be the bag that you draw your dreams from. Ooh,
all those dreams.
All those dreams. And then the unused components go out of the game. Everybody gets a player aid here, like this. There we go. And the nightmare cards, except for the Nightmare of Temptation, which is a little extra thing, go in the center of the field here for all players to see. And then I'll turn some towards you so you don't have to read upside down. There we go. Nice little variety there. So basically, to determine the first player, it's whoever had a bad dream the last. I feel like I have bad dreams all the time.
I feel like you're just uncontested in
yeah,
this race here. So.
I'm just terrible. So I'll go ahead and go first. So what you want to do is you'll check the sleep track here, and this shows you how deeply you're going to dream. It's a representation of that. And the numbers are how many dice you draw on each of your turns. So like I said in the beginning of the video, there's a huge pressure luck mechanic to this, but we're going to play it safe and see how things start out. We're going to go with the lightest dream of 3. So what you do is you draw 3 dice from the bag, then you return 2 of them. So I'll return these 2. And then you roll the ones that are left. And what I got here is an exhaust. And if you get too much exhaustion, you basically take all the die of a certain color that you draw from the bag, and they go back into the bag from your power meter. So you definitely don't want to get exhausted and get kicked out of the dream. But I'm feeling pretty good about that. That was a pretty easy turn. Let's up the ante a little bit. Let's move the sleep track up. And this is all on my turn, by the way. So we'll move the sleep track up 1 notch. We'll draw 5 die this time. So 1, 2, some a little slippery, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so we got 5 die here. And you typically don't want too many of the same color because that fills up your shadow bar really quickly. And if you fill your shadow bar up, you become one of these nightmares here. And It's interesting. It's not necessarily bad, but it does change the game a lot, and you don't really want to do it super early because I feel like it makes the game kind of take a while. But let's put back these, so that way we just have one of each color. And then we're going to roll these. And what do we got? We got 2 shadows and an exhaust. So in turn order, how everything is resolved, it's basically this side of the board resolves first from bottom to top, and then left to right. And we got an exhaustion. Not super great. And then it goes top down, so the blue one's going to go first. So I drew a blue shadow, I place that and resolve it, and the blue shadow tells me to draw and roll 1 dream. Alright, we got a power out of that one, so that was a good turn for that. And the win condition here is just getting to 15 power or being the last dreamer or nightmare left. You lose the game if your hunt meter is filled, and that comes from the red die. So these are a little risky to roll, but they also have the highest power value, so a little bit of risk and reward there. So we'll go ahead and resolve that, and the red one says you may move a shadow to a hunt space, and I definitely do not want to do that. So in the interest of time, I could keep going, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass my turn to Andrew, and when I do that, I have 2 options. I can remove 1 shadow, or I can remove all my exhaustion. I'm going to go ahead and remove all my exhaustion, and pass the dice bag to you, sir, so pick your sleep track.
Alright, well there's some of us that start at 3, but there's other of us that start at 5.
Oh, going in. Okay, I see. So he's going to draw 5 die now, return 2 to the bag, and then roll the rest.
2, 3, 4, 5.
There you go.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and return blue and yellow.
Okay.
So I'm going to roll these 3.
Let's see it. And not a bad turn. You got 2 power out of that one. So those resolve first.
Yeah, so work my way up.
There we go. And we got a yellow shadow.
And prism rotate 1 sleep to a...
And a shadow face.
Shadow face. So that'd be useful if I'm trying to get exhausted.
Yeah.
Alright, let's go up to 7.
Alright, let's do it. Let's see what happens.
That's 5, 6, 7.
There we go. And you never want to draw too many die out of the bag. There's a worst case rule. So you always want to try to draw correctly. Otherwise it really bones you. Alright, what do we got?
A little sleepy.
So resolve power first.
Resolve power first.
There we go.
Right. Okay, so power. And then, is it exhaust or shadows next?
It is exhaust next.
Okay, 2 exhaust.
And then a blue one, so resolve that one by drawing. There we go.
Red.
And you got a hunt face.
Oof.
Uh-oh, too many of those and it's game over. Boyo.
And you can re-roll it.
Reroll 1 dream of the next player's choice. Go ahead and reroll that exhaustion.
Which one? Blue.
The yellow one.
The yellow one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a shadow.
Okay, so...
That allows you to rotate a sleep to a shadow face.
I am going to go ahead and... Do I have the option to decline?
Nope, you have to do it.
Okay, so I guess I'll rotate that one.
Mm-hmm.
So then
But that gives you another die to draw.
Ooh, another red.
Uh-oh. Oh!
Man, this might be a quick game.
Yeah! It's going to be pretty quick.
Alright, that's where I'm going to end it at.
Okay, sounds good. So that's a pretty basic example of a turn. There are some other mechanics that we're going to cut away and show you those. Alright, so let's say that play has progressed a little bit. We've gone back and forth for a few turns, and on my turn, maybe I got a little overzealous and filled one of my shadow rows. At the end of resolving all of your die, you'll check for filled rows. You'll check for filled power rows to see if you won the game by getting to 15 power. You'll check for a filled hunt row to see if you've lost the game. You'll check for exhaust to see if you get kicked out of the dream, and you guys kind of get the idea by this point. But the last thing you'll check for is a filled shadow row. If at any point you fill your shadow row and it resolves, you then become a nightmare of that color. So for all intents and purposes, I've become the blue nightmare. So what I do is I clear my row, I clear this side of the board, and I take the nightmare that corresponds to the color of the row that I filled. In this case, is the Nightmare of the Depths. That goes over this, and now I am the Nightmare of the Depths for the rest of the game. And that gives me a set of special powers. There's not much I can do, but the things that I can do kind of make life hard for Andrew over here. So on my turn, I can consume power or send minions, or I can just end my turn. So what I'm going to do is consume power, and what that means is I can just take one of his die. I can just take one of his power die because I'm big, scary,
Super
and,
rude,
yeah, and really rude and a nightmare, and I do what I want. So
Changed, man.
then play goes over to Andrew, and let's say for all intents and purposes we're going to kind of stack the dice bag. We're going to say that he draws a blue die. So go ahead and roll that. And if it's anything but a power symbol or an exhaust symbol, it goes to me as a power, because that's the color of my dream. And then what I can do is I can choose a die from the bag, or I can choose 2 die from the bag. So I'll choose 2. I'm hoping to get another blue one so I can keep repeating this process over and over and over again and bust it. But what I can do is I can force him to lose the game by rolling these red dice. So I'm going to make you roll that. And it's a red shadow.
Thank God. Alright.
And that's pretty much it. Play will pretty much go back and forth like that until one player reaches 15 power or one player is eliminated from the game. It's a super simple concept, really cool art, pretty neat game. If you like rolling fistfuls of dice, this is definitely going to be a game for you. Alright guys, so in a nutshell, that is essentially Lucidity 6-Sided Nightmare, published by Renegade Game Studios. It's a lot of fun to sit down with 1 to 4 people and roll some colorful die, become a nightmare, eat your friends' dreams, all that fun stuff. It's basically Gengar the board game. You're basically a Gengar by the time that you end. But anyway guys, I'm BouseFeenux. I've been joined at the table here by Andrew. And if you like this kind of stuff, get subscribed to the channel for more board game content. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.